surprise. A little bit of an impromptu live, but I had some time on my hands. Thank you very much. It is nice to be here today. Hit my throat then. All right. Hi, Wendy. Hey, Nicola, Mel. I'll just let a few comments come in and then I'll start the readings. While people are coming in, happy Friday. It is Happy Friday. While people are coming in, I just want to talk about the workshops quickly. Just bringing up so I get all the days right. So, on the 4th of June is the Psychic Development Workshop that's being held here at Bonnells Bay and will run from 10:30 in the morning. That is a full day, and then the next day is the Mediumship Development, and that's the same. That'll start at 10:30 and that is a full day, but it finishes at 3:30 in the afternoon. On the 18th of June, you've got the Tarot Development Workshop. That is held at Bonnells Bay as well and includes the tarot book that I wrote. In the afternoon, you've got the Oracle Workshop. That's online via Zoom, and you've also got that again the next morning as well. So there's a few sitting there. Reiki will come up shortly as well. So for those of you that are looking to do your Reiki 2 and your Reiki 1, those two will be up. And just while I think of it as well, the Bathurst is having a day organised. I've got a chunk of you guys that keep asking me to come up, and I keep going, yeah, I'll come up, and I'm yet to organise something formally. So if you happen to be around that area and you're waiting to have a in-person reading with me, flick me a message. I'm going to put a post up on the Facebook page as well, but once I've got that handful of people organised, I will get that done. So let's get to it. All right. Nice. Hey, Erin, Florin, Lisa, Kathy, Natasha. All right, I'm just going to scroll. Is there info on the webpage? There's info on the Facebook page on the events link. I have not updated my website, I'll be 100% honest with this. But there is all the information that you need is there. So if you click on the Facebook page, Book Now, and you go to workshops, if you click on that, all the information that you need is there. And it's pretty much copy and pasted in the events directory on the Facebook page as well. So it'll give you everything that you need. Alright, so I'm going to jump with Nicola because she was here first. How are you going? So I'll just pull you a general. So guys, be specific with your questions. If you're not, that's totally fine. If I'm drawn to you, I'll just do you a general read. Alright. Oh yeah, please, no, I won't send you a friend request. Don't answer messages. They're scammers. Alright, Nicola. You know what I want to say to you, Nicola? You've got a really nice mindset around you now, okay? So even if things are feeling a little bit challenging around you right now, I feel like you're kind of linked into why that is and what's going on and what you kind of need to do to shift yourself out of it. So I almost want to say to you, just, give yourself that peripheral kick up the butt if that's what you need to do, because when I pull your cards, it's telling you to take 5 and regroup, be mindful of your health and a little bit of betrayal, which I'll jump on in a second. But even though that sits there, even when I tap into your energy, it's like it doesn't I don't want to say it doesn't matter what's around you right now, but just want to say it doesn't matter because it's not going to beat you right now, okay? So just be really mindful to make sure that you're, as you get up each morning, just checking in with yourself. I don't want to get too airy-fairy with it, but, have some water and just take a breath and really be mindful of the intention that you're setting for the day. And I feel like anything that kind of comes your way, you handle. There's a few, learning processes around in all of that, but I feel like that learning process is more so realising that resilience and strength that you have, okay? There's nothing that's going to wipe you out right now, so don't feel like it's going to, okay? Because it's not. So when I sit with your cards, as I said, you've got the Take 5 card, regrouping, recuperating, being mindful, just all of those things. But as I said, I don't feel I need to get too heavy with that. I just want to tell you to be mindful more than anything with that. With the health card, it is that, as I said, like the resilience. Health talks about emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, all of those kind of different aspects of health. And so with that, again, just pay attention to yourself right now. There's a lot to be had. With this card sitting here, I feel like it's not necessarily pertaining to one person in particular, but more so kind of like situations and ways and all of that kind of thing. I feel like you're handed energy over and you're aware of this and it serves you no purpose, but you're being loyal and you're trying to do the right thing by other people, and in doing that you're ripping yourself off. So, you know, again, you're in a really good position. Like, I really want to smile with your energy. So just get your broom out, sweep everything away, okay? Let me get some water, my mouth's dry. Thank you. When I say sweep everything away, as I said, be really mindful of your intentions and your energy and your power at the moment, okay? You're like, yeah, it's like there's a nice shift when I sit with this. It's almost like you're sitting right now in a phase of learning. You get through that and there's this really nice energy that sits on the other side, and it feels like there's an upliftment in your energy that's there. I feel like, you know what, there's either a move that sits around with that or a move that's in work. It's one of those two that's there. But when I sit with it, I see the sunshine around you and your shoulders are really light, okay? So by doing the work now, it's going to bring in that shift around you, all right? So again, enjoy, and yeah, just keep doing you, And I'll just jump to Mel too. How are you, Mel? I'll catch up down in the comments in a second, guys, so please feel free to comment more than once. That is all good. Just don't smash the page. Make sure you're using your voice and that your voice is being heard. And I'm not saying that you need to overstep on anyone or, you know, get into arguments or anything else like that, but it's always like there's a compromise that's coming out, and it feels like it's connected in with like a partnership, okay? So just, and again, like just using that voice and just making sure that you're not sitting there at the end of the day going, things are kind of sitting a little bit out of whack for me and I wish that this was shifting, all right? Because it's not going to end well. Like, when I say it's not going to end well, it just means that like you're going to sit and always have that little bit of kind of resentment, I guess, that builds and builds and builds. And both, you know, let's go forward 2 years, the pile's this big. So I want you to just be really mindful that you're using your voice, and that, you know, family, work, all of those kind of little bits and pieces. But I feel like there's one relationship in particular, and when I focus in on it, there's a male energy that's attached to it, okay? So when I pull your cards, you've got the female card, which talks about your energy, your power, and everything else like that needs to come from within, which is exactly what I'm saying. Like, the shifts that you want to see around you, they're not going to happen. If people are saying to you, yeah, I'm going to do this, and yep, this will happen in 4 months, and blah, 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 it's your energy that's in it that's actually going to make it happen. If you sit back and go, okay, well, just wait 4 months, that 4 months will come and go. Okay, it's like reminding them, hey, 4 months is here, you need to do this thing now. Okay, does that make sense what I'm saying? The energy has to come from within you. The changes that you want to see are only going to come from you. With that, you've got the completions card that comes in, and I smirk a little bit because I guess, you know, sometimes people don't necessarily like it when we're standing in our true energy, you know. I don't sense like completion of relationships. I don't want to pull anything apart here. As I said, I want to smirk a little bit. It's more so, I guess, just a shift that may feel a little bit awkward around at the moment. But, you know, this completions card, it always reminds me of the bush. And I know you guys have probably heard this before, but when you see the bush all burn out and it looks devastated and you think, wow, you know, but then you drive past several weeks later and there's all this beautiful green shoot that's coming because the bush has had the ability to regenerate. And so that's the thing, you know, this shift and you asserting yourself and bringing that voice to the forefront is going to bring some shifts and some completions. But with those completions, there's going to be room for you to actually put in place what it is that you need, okay? You've also got the clearing out the stable, so out with the old and in with the new. So again, the cards kind of really resonate just with that message that's there, that it's step back, see what needs to shift and what needs to change. What, you know, if you sit back and you look and go, you know what, that I'm happy, but this one thing here is just out of sync and I just can't seem to, it's because your voice is missing into it, okay? So I want to encourage you to do that. Overall, as I said, I can sit and I can smirk and I can have a little joke through this. So this is a positive energy. This is good. This is a good energy. It just may not feel so great along the way. But again, you know, it's the shifts and changes that you need are going to come from you. So it's not about not being able to rely on people, but the energy and the motivation and the oomph that comes into it has to be your drive, okay? So I hope that helps, and good luck, and thank you for joining me. All right, so I'll just do Erin and then I'm catching up with the comments. You know, it's interesting when I sit and I read your question, straight away I'm told that there's going to be a really big shift around you for work, and it's going to take a couple of years to come in, and I don't want to go, oh, you just got to wait 2 years, blah, blah, blah. But it's like that momentum that sits there, and I feel like in 2 years' time, it's like things all come into play and things are all going to build up around you, okay? I want to be really clear that it doesn't mean that there's nothing in between all of that. It just, that's a really nice culmination that sits there. So whatever it is that you're working towards at the moment through your career, I feel like it's almost like something that you've got to come back to, almost like it's something that you're not ready to let go of, but that's almost been let go of a little bit because the energy hasn't been there. And I don't feel like the energy hasn't been there from things that you've not done, just, you know, circumstances in life and all of those things that come into play. And it's like it just gets put in the back burner just a little bit more, you know, but you're going to have an opportunity that comes up way before that 2 years, that comes up. It's like it's there around you. Or I'll say, for some reason I hear 6 months, but I do feel like it's a lot closer than that. And it's like an opportunity to throw that energy back into it, all right? And it's, yeah, and it sits there quite nicely. So just be really mindful of opportunities or, you know, information or chances that come into play that give you a chance to reignite, all right? Because it's going to pay off really well for you. And, you know, I feel like you're almost, when I say play it safe, I don't want to, you know, be rude in that comment, but it does feel like sometimes you do play it safe. And so I want to say to you, really just weigh up, because some risks are worth the chance, okay? Let me pull you some cards, see what comes out. Mindful of friendships around you. I'll just keep that as a general statement, like, you know, just make sure that they're working for you. And if they're not, kind of have a looking around and just see why. Don't need to get bitchy or tension or anything else like that. Just feels like, yeah, it's a bit of a shift happening. All right, so when I pull your cards, the first card out is being open to embracing changes. So again, you know, that's what I'm saying to you. There's a really nice opportunity that's about to fall through for you that's going to reignite something that you've wanted and been working towards, okay? But again, like I was straight away, I was taken to work. So keep yourself nice and grounded. Grounding doesn't have to be too complex, you know, it's as simple as, you know, energy in the sun, walking on the earth, drinking water, exercise, all of those things. Keep yourself grounded and stand strong. And that's where I say I feel like there's this that part of you that tends to get all that energy forward, and then, you know, you get all the what ifs and everything that come around, and you retreat back a little bit. And I go, nah, it's good to step forward in this time, okay? I just want to actually see where your journey goes a little bit. So yeah, frustration, as we said, but be mindful of your balance. There's lots of things around you, but there's a change of luck coming, so be positive. There's your change of luck. It's time to come in. You get caught in your own head. Yes, I know that. So be patient, but there is improvements of self and situations. So what you need to know most for yourself is you're secure in your choices, okay? And that's what I'm saying to you. Take some risk here, okay? Take some risk. All right, you got the no card out, which means, yeah, you're not trusting yourself enough, okay? They're asking you to really kind of tap in and trust that intuition a lot more, which, as I said, keep yourself nice and grounded. Take a nice breath and just be mindful. Think about the long term and pay attention, okay? So I hope all of that helps. There's, as I said, a nice opportunity that's going to fall in your lap over the next few months, and you need to pay attention to it because it can give you what you want. All right. Let me catch up with the comments. Sorry, I hear songs heaps when I see comments. Hello. I think it's Micah. I apologise if it's not Micah, but I've drawn to your energy, not to your name. So, can you please tell me how college life is going to be in medical school? I feel like it's funny. Like the intelligence is there, the energy's there, the organisation's there. It's just a matter of keeping the follow through there. I feel like there's one aspect in particular that you struggle with, like. You know, if we're talking about maths, for me it's statistics. I struggle significantly with statistics. You know, but I feel like there's that one aspect that you may actually need to, you know, if you've got your module of that through that trimester, and actually take on a tutor or take on just that extra time and effort. And I feel like it comes in fairly early through it, so it's almost like, oh my god, is this what it's going to be like? But just applying that focus there initially, it feels like it picks a few things for you as well. It's like, oh, okay, that's what happens when this happens. So it's just that, like it does feel like there's really a lot of mindfulness that needs to be sitting there through that. And as I said, I feel like I'm sitting in like the second or third trimester, you know, so just be mindful with that. It's only going to be through that lump, and if we keep the perseverance there through that, you'll be okay. and just keeping like the time's been spent to do the organisation, so follow through with that. You know what I mean? It's we sometimes do our best work under pressure, but I just feel like this isn't the time or place to kind of rely on that. Having already done half the work before the pressure comes in will be needed. I'll pull your cards. Yeah, interesting. You know, I'm curious to see if you are working towards, I've lost all kind of medical terminology now. Say you're working towards being a surgeon and you actually want to be a paediatrician. Okay, it's almost, so just make sure you're keeping in check with yourself. And if you're taking a second option because the first option, perhaps because of that struggle there, feels a little bit out of reach, just still keep it as a feather in your hat. And if you're doing X, Y, and Z in the background to make sure that that feather stays put, then you'll see, coming into it that there will be an opportunity to turn. But, I get like a 3-4 year mark into that, and absolutely it's going to mean, possibly going back and doing more work and things like that, but the opportunity will come up if you keep the means in place to keep that feather there, okay? So just make sure, because this is we all know it's going to be a hell of a lot of work. Make sure your heart is staying there and true to you through this path. It'll make it easier for you. When I pull your cards, you've got the where are you, and as I said, that for me is kind of like just all that second guessing and all that energy that's going into play, but just taking a breath, making sure that you're clear on why it is that you're here, and allowing that reason to stay passionate, and allowing that reason to stay enough here in front of you that you don't actually have to look for reasons why you're there sometimes, okay? There's a change of luck, energy shifting for the better, and I feel like that's something that you bring into play just with your own doing and your own, sense of purpose there. You've got the new beginnings card that sits there, okay, and that obviously you're entering into it, that sits with there, but as I said, I also feel like that sits around an opportunity to turn. It's not turn away by any yards of the stick. I'm still keeping it in that mix that's there, but it's almost like just that thing that seemed like it was a little bit out of reach. But again, I'm not going to lie, it doesn't mean that the work doesn't have to come into play in the first place to actually bring that into play, okay? So yeah, overall it's going to be a good experience, but absolutely a hell of a lot of work that's going to, beyond I get it, it's uni, it's medical on top of that. What I mean is a lot of work for you learning yourself and navigating through that as well, okay? So there'll be times that you'll be like, oh, but that's part and parcel of the process, and if you sit with it, you will get through it, all right? So I hope all that helps. I had a spirit wake me up last night, and I felt like it went through me. Hard to explain, but I felt like I couldn't move or talk to tell it to get out. What was it? It can be a couple of things. That's a bit of a big question. I'm trying to figure out how to keep it simple. So it depends. If it's the first time that you've experienced it and things like that, I would just be mindful. If it happens again, let me know, okay? But just keeping it as simple as I can for right now, so as not to freak you out. And there's no reason to be freaked out. So, before you go to bed, okay, just make sure that you're, you've had a nice glass of water and things like that. I know I talk about water a lot, but our body's mostly water, and it's important. So drink the water before you go to bed. But set your intentions as well before you go to sleep. So the beautiful white dome around you, okay, so when you make that dome, don't just make it come down to the ground, put it into the ground beneath the home as well, so that you're sitting in this big beautiful circle of light. And I always like to say with that circle that only love and light can enter here, and basically I know and I have faith and take security in that, so I feel safe in that, okay? And that's the thing with intention as well, like it's energy, and it's, like how a dog can sense or a horse can sense, especially if someone's nervous or someone's a bad energy and things like that. It's very much the same with our own energy. If we don't have the intention or the faith in what it is that we're doing, then that energy is all but redundant. It's like trying to stand assertive at a dog when you're really, really nervous inside. The dog's going to pick up the nerves more than it's going to pick up the assertiveness. So create that big, beautiful light and have trust and faith in that, and just set that intention out and around it. While it's just been a first time thing and things like that, then, I tend to kind of treat it as that. So that's why I say to you, if it does happen again, there's things like sleep paralysis and, all other little bits and pieces that can come into play. But honestly, I think that it's the wrong thing to do to jump to all of that straight away first. You know what I mean? Because yeah, that stuff can be frightening. So in the meantime, I would suggest very much doing that. And again, Lisa, you are absolutely welcome to send me a message if you need a little bit more of a complex answer on it. Yeah, like a shield. Like a shield. I do it heaps. I've, you know, like especially just in this line of work and things like that, sometimes things are just about or whatever else like that. So if there's times that I just want to keep the house nice and protected and even just keep like a negative energy away and things like that, it's I always do it, and I've done it for a long time. So yeah, it's all right. Let me catch up with the comments. That's all right. And again, like, feel free to message me. I just don't want to like say a bunch of stuff and then like be freaking things out when they don't need to be, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. Google's a good source of information around white light protection. It's a beautiful thing. I do it often, even in Reiki with clients and stuff like that. Would love some advice on my next step. Feeling content but also stagnant. The stagnant has just only got to do with the fact that that next step is there, okay? So it's almost like, it's not like that itchy skin thing. It's almost, you know, like when it's Christmas time, when you're a kid and it's like the 10th of December and, you know, 25th of December is like present day. So the days drag and things can get a bit boring and not so satisfying. You know, it's that kind of energy that's there. I would use this time to be nurturing. So, you know, like read a book if that's what you like to do, take opportunities to have a walk, all that sort of stuff. And I know that that, again, like sounds simple, but it's those simple moments that I feel like are going to be short for you over the next sort of few months. So take advantage of it now. And I just feel like it just keeps that, it shifts that stagnant feeling back up to the content feeling that's there, you know. Take an opportunity as well to clear off. Like, we've always got a little bit of a to-do list that sits in the background, and I feel like just checking through some of that reinvigorates as well, and if not, puts a little bit more energy even into moving forward too. Like, yeah, I kind of want to just smile simply with you and just say, I feel like it's just, yeah, that itchy skin and probably a little bit of procrastinating around things that need to be done that aren't necessarily pressing, but, you know, get them done. I'll pull you a couple of cards quickly as well. Interesting. Okay. Much like we just said, you know, look towards the bigger picture. Long term, you already are doing that. So again, just keeping yourself in that content moment that's there. It's time, you know, that you feels it. So all of that sits there nicely, but I'm drawn to the middle card, which is your external conflict card. And when that card gets placed for me, I'm shown that there's not going to be somebody who's, you know, we move forward, we have our growth and all of those kind of little bits and pieces. And some people don't necessarily, you know, wouldn't use words like hate and blah, 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 but they're not supportive and they can be a little bit jealous or envious and, you know, a little bit in the back and all that sort of stuff. So just be mindful as you move forward over the next 12 months. It's kind of just natural that not everyone's going to move at the same pace with you, okay? And even as changes come into you through your own growth, it's going to change who you are slightly, you know what I mean? So there's going to be pull aparts that come along here, and I feel like they do pull on my heartstrings and even almost give me a sense of like, am I doing the right thing, okay? But people who want the best for you and who love you truly are going to support you, even if it means self-sacrifice for them, like as far as having to miss you or, you know, support you in something that is more for you than it is for them, and, you know, all of those kind of little bits and pieces that are there. But I'm feeling it's quite heightened, okay? So I just sort of want to prepare you for it as far as it goes, and I don't want to be out of context with that. I don't want to kind of leave this reading with you thinking, oh wow, you know, I'm in for all this shit fight, because you're not. It's just a matter of you standing there and being able to look and go, you know what, I know I'm doing the right thing for myself. I know that I'm moving forward, and I stand true to my morals and my ethics around me. And if that doesn't align with you so much, well then I'm sorry, there's not a lot I can do about that. you know, and just be prepared for some shifts around relationships with that, okay? I feel like these are second relationships, so I don't necessarily feel it's like with a husband or a partner or a girlfriend or anything like that, okay? So I'll leave that there with you. Good luck. It's a really nice positive energy, as I said, but, you know, sometimes with personal growth comes other people's luck thereof highlighted, okay? So good luck. Alright. You know what? It is awesome. I am back. Oh my god. Talk about lessons and all the rest of it that was there. It feels like it's May and it feels like it's January for me. Like it's just, yeah, phenomenal. So I will just very quickly, before I jump to the next reading as well, and I'll only be 2 seconds, talk about the workshops that are there. So on the... Oh, thank you. I didn't even mean to click on that. Awesome. Spirit's making sure I saw some good feedback. What I wanted to say was the workshops. On the 4th of June is the Psychic Development Workshop. That's here at Bonnells Bay. The 5th of June is the Mediumship Workshop. That's here at Bonnells Bay as well. They're both full days. Then you've got the 18th of June has the Tarot Workshop. And that includes a copy of the book. That's at Bonnells Bay. 18th in the afternoon, and on the 19th morning you've got the Oracle Workshop, which is via Zoom. Okay, so all of those workshops are up. Reiki 1 and 2 will be up shortly as well. There will be a mediumship demonstration. There freaking will be a mediumship demonstration. I'm so excited to have that. I haven't had them because in my temporary premises where I'm at the moment, there is no air conditioning and it's just been too hot. So it's, yeah, really kind of changed. I've had to work over the summer, and so now that the weather's getting cooler, can't wait. I'm excited. So there will be one listed. I'm just looking for a date at the moment, but it'll be somewhere between now and those workshops. Alright, so yes, enough about all of that. Let me go. Andrew, how are you? Just a general reading. There's going to be, over the next 4 months is what I'm shown, like, plenty of opportunities for you to be cranky, okay? But what I mean by that is just, you know, sometimes when it rains and it pours, all right? So just little shifts here and there of inconvenience, you know, perhaps some family dynamics that are sort of, you know, rolling around again. You know, things with yourself, like you just might be feeling a bit low one day, or, you know, it's all kind of just little bits and pieces like that. So it's not like there's a big fallout that sits there, but it's almost like you're sitting there and you're, you know, putting your best foot forward and keeping a smile on your face, and the universe is going, sweet, okay, now we're just going to just double check how strong you are and just annoy you a little bit, you know what I mean? But it's only minor little bits and pieces that are here, and I feel like at the end of it, it's almost giving you opportunity. It's like you've walked along with a broom the whole time when you've done that. It's like, instead of dealing with each thing and letting it sort of sit and fester, you have worked with it and cleared it out of your energy. So, you know, where are we? Well, it's May, June, July, August, September. So say coming into spring, which is nice, okay, and all those nice warmer months and everything else like that, it is really like that. It's like spring sprung in the air. The winter is behind me, you know, so keep yourself nice and warm as far as it goes, metaphorically speaking, this winter. But I want to say to you that I feel a really nice connection in your relationships, like your close relationships, so partners, kids, all that sort of stuff. I feel good with work, okay? I feel like, you know, there's some frustrations that sit there, but overall I feel good with work. Like, I want to be really clear that there's an underlying positive energy that sits here. It's just that some days it's going to be like, far out, you know, there's another lesson that's coming along. And you know what, I'll be honest with you, like, I resonate with that a lot at the moment. As I said, for me it feels like it's January. It's been a fucktardy that I can come up with, and I sit here and I'm like, all right, so where's the lessons in it? Where's the you know, the positive energy that sits there with it? And I have honestly learned a lot about myself, and, you know, taking on too much and all of those kind of little bits and pieces. And so it's almost like that stubbornness that's like sits there at the end, and it's like, damn it, I knew there was something to learn there, you know. And it's going to be the same for you. So at the end of the day, you're going to sit and you're going to smile with it, and you're going to feel better and stronger for it too. So I hope all of that helps, okay? Keep doing what you're doing, seriously. Keep doing what you're doing. You're all good. Jesus. Alright, let me catch up with the comments. I didn't realise how far back I was. Jade, your name has caught my eye a couple of times. Let me pull a card for you. You know, it's interesting. You put love, 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 love. It's interesting. Yeah. Anyway, I'm goobering on in my head. What I want to say to you is I'm feeling a really nice connection around love. Like, I'm wondering if there's even like an engagement or a anniversary or, you know, something significant that's coming up through that. It feels really nice and it just feels really connected and I feel really happy. And if there's no relationship, then there's definitely a relationship sitting there because I'm staring at someone. So yeah, I want to say to you that there's a really nice, strong, positive energy around love. And you know, for me, it's yeah, I'm a little, not a love cynic, but I am. So when I see love and I feel love like that, it really does uplift me because I absolutely believe in true love and, you know, respectful love and all of that good, healthy stuff that's there. And that's exactly how I feel when I sit with that, like so much so that my words are stumbling, just staring off into space. It's a really nice energy, so enjoy it. Let me pull you a couple of cards. Alright, so your cards are so a change of luck, so energy shifting for the better around you, which is nice. So if things have been a little bit stagnant, even in other areas beyond love, I want to say that connection that I feel and that partnership and that unity moving forward, it feels like I can, you know, knock down mountains if I need to with that. So really nice sitting there, a nice shift, nice change of luck. You got all my words all muddled up, I'm all like loved up. So seal the deal, make the commitment to move forward. Okay, so this is a really good time to, you know what, I want to sound like a magazine psychic for a second all of a sudden because I want to say this is a really good time to take on new ventures. But it is, like, so if there's little projects or ideas or things like that that have been sitting and mulling in the background, and I want to be creative with it, actually, when I say that, I see colour and I feel my hands moving. I want to say to you, now's a good time to do that. Just be mindful, for some reason it feels relevant to say to you that when we make things or try to sell things and stuff like that, sometimes we put all of our heart and soul into it, and you know, our audience doesn't necessarily see that, and so, you know, that $50 product in their eyes is worth $5. So just make sure that you're putting your value and time in the right places with the things that you're choosing to do. And moving forward, you've got the love card. As I said, love's all around you at the moment. But for me, this card, so there's 2 love cards in my deck, and this one talks about like the truth, the happiness and desire. And for me, what that means is that you know yourself well enough and there's been enough work done here that you can stand with faith, that you can stand in your truth and your happiness and your desires with love, and you can be honest and open about those, and it's going to be reciprocated. So enjoy it. As I said, it's, yeah, it got me all goofy. So I'll leave that there with you, Jade, and I hope that you enjoy that positive energy too. Natalie. Like a general if drawn. Reiki is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And you know what's nice with Reiki, though, and I always teach it not long after I do Reiki, so there's another course that'll come up, is the energy healing side of it, because Reiki in itself is its own beautiful practice, and I have 1,000,000% respect for it, absolutely. But we all have our own natural kind of little flair that comes in with Reiki, and being able to tap into that and go just that level beyond what, you know, your straightforward Reiki is it's what makes it special and what makes it beautiful, and you know, all of those things. So energy healing and Reiki are, yeah, absolutely 2 of my faves. Alright, Natalie, let me focus on you. Make sure you're taking time to get out and giggle and laugh and just, you know, be a dag. Just, you know, have one of those nights where you're like, oh, I don't have to get up in the morning, I'm just going to be a dag. It'll do you the world of good, and I feel like the connections serve you well. Alright, let me pull you a couple of cards. you have a grandmother that comes in really strongly with you. And it's interesting, when I pull your cards, when I tap into it, as I said, I want to, have a little bit of fun. Just let your hair down a little bit and, let loose a little bit. I feel like you need to shake some sillies out, as the Wiggles said. When I pull your cards, you've got the health card, the frustration card, and the self-trust card. So the energy around you, it feels stagnant when I sit with that, and that's probably why I'm, as I said, shake your sillies out, things like that. So I want you just to kind of sit with yourself. Journaling and little bits and pieces like that are a really nice way. I always will recommend that, because when we write with pen and pencil, not typing, it's when we connect really with ourselves. Our layers of subconscious all come together and we can just sit and speak our truths. It's where we are, our higher self is our greatest mentor, and to be connected into them, our higher self, I don't know, whichever word you want to call it, it's important. And I just feel like you need to take some time to actually do that. And it's almost like just coming back to base. I don't want to say everything's out of whack around you, or you need to watch this or you need to watch that, but it's just when I sit in with yourself, it's that kind of feeling, and it really does it quietens me. And so just sitting, as I said, just back to base and bringing a few things around you that are missing. I feel like you might be a little bit, I could be guilty of doing that, where we're feeling a little bit out of sorts, and we tend to neglect ourselves with this, and we tend to neglect ourselves with that and that. So much so I moved my juicer in front of the PowerPoint. Yes, I'm at home at the moment, so that it's there, because I wasn't doing my juice every morning with the move between the two houses. I wasn't set up properly, and I could feel it. And so just kicking my own butt and putting things in place to make sure that I'm looking after myself. And I'm sitting here a lot better this week, like I'm back on lives, and little things like that, because I'm looking after myself. And so I just want to share that with you. So anyway, you've got the frustration card, which no doubt, okay, so self-trust, self-belief, it's where it all begins. And that's what I say, I just want to kind of bring it back to base a little bit with you. A little bit of external conflict, and I feel like this has just come around you in the way of like headaches, politics, things at work and stuff like that, just annoyances. So as I said, it's time. You've got the alarm bells there, which just talk about it is time, as I said, just coming back to base a little bit, okay? Straight after that falls the joy card, which is nice, all right? But again, it's time to clear out the stables, out with the old and in with the new. You will see some improvements around you, but this way, how we're sitting around you right now, it doesn't work, you know that, okay? Sometimes we just need to move forward, and that's the thing. The answers are blowing in the wind. The answers, my friend. But what I mean by this card is just that, sometimes we've got to move forward without having all the answers. We've got to take risks and chances and really kind of sit with ourselves and go, this is important enough to me that I'm going to move forward with it, even though I might fall on my ass on the way. But if we fall on our butt on the way, it's because that lesson was meant to be there as well. Yes, I'm talking about a lot about myself in this particular reading. I'm sorry about that, but it resonates, I guess. But I just want to say, it's much like this year has been. It would be very easy to sit back and go, okay, I'm obviously out of whack somewhere, blah 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 blah. But when I look and I sit with it, that out of whack is always me. Okay, so just a little bit of food for thought, and hopefully that resonates. Straight after that, you've got the transformation card, which talks about just blossoming into your true self, but you need to trust your intuition a little bit more. And that's what I say, bring it back to base. What you need to know most. You've got lots of support around you, okay? So don't doubt that. Don't doubt that. And then you've got the sunset card that comes in, which talks about tomorrow's a new day. So if we do, just as I said, bring it back to base, sit with yourself a little bit, you'll see that energy will phase out, because that's exactly what the sunset card is, okay? It's the end of an era and a new one coming in, all right? So just, make yourself joyful and happy. And as I said, go out and be a dad for a while. I feel like you need to connect in with your fun, silly side a bit, all right? So I hope all of that helps. Oh, thank you. My bloody glasses. I missed that comment just as it flipped past, so I shall see it again if I'm meant to. But yeah, third time's a charm. Amanda. If this situation is still sitting around, a familiar workplace, okay, so we're in a new cycle again, it's, even if it's not, I feel like wherever you are, want to say change. That's what my point is I'm trying to get at. It's, yeah, okay. No, see, I just think that the respect, the rhythm, it's just not going to happen. Not there. I don't mean overall, I just mean there. Like it's, yeah. It's frustrating. Yep. Too right. So, as I say, if it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a goddamn duck. And what I want to say with that is that just this around you is not going to shift until you shift out of it, okay? I get that there may be reasons that you need to stay and finish certain things and all of the rest of it that's there. I'm not saying walk away from any of that, that's fine. But, you know, sometimes we get to a point with our work that we've got to sit back and go, and we forget that we're not there to work for them. You know, like we are, like I get it. But at the end of the day, we go to work to service our lives. We go to work to pay our rent, to get food, to, you know, have a lifestyle and all the rest of it that's there. That's the purpose that it serves. We don't wake up every morning and go, okay, I'm here to fucking make your life better. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely be dedicated to your work and all that sort of stuff. I'm not taking away from any of that, but do you get my point? You know what I mean? So what I want to say to you is that, like, sit back, have a look at the moment and see what purpose this is serving you. Okay, as far as like, yeah, okay, I get this or I get that at the end of it, or I've just got to complete this qualification, whatever it is that's sitting there, that's fine. Get that done, but then move on. Okay, because they can promise the cows freaking for all I care at this point, and honestly, it's such a clear energy that's here. It's just like, yeah, nah. So you've got the procrastination card that's there, okay? So creating delays to avoid action. Now, if you're ready to move forward, like as far as there isn't anything that's actually tying you there that you need to complete first, then yeah, have a look at your procrastination around you, because I know you're a loyal person and I know that you like to stick things out and, you know, give people all the energy in the world that they need to be able to sort of work around you, but it's your turn, okay? It's time to call on your strength. It's time to call on your strength with that, and just, yeah, it's not going to work around you at all, all right? It's such a clear energy, as I said, but shift out of it. Like, that will pay you and serve you off so well. Feel like, you know, in 12 months time you look back and go, oh my God, why didn't I do that sooner? You know what I mean? It's a nice positive energy moving forward, and so this way no longer works. All right, it's time to move forward. I would like some clarity this week. Wendy, how are you, Wendy? I would like some clarity. Really sitting timeline is beautiful. It is such a gorgeous afternoon out there. Wendy. Right. Interesting. We got a bag of tricks. Okay. So straight up, your cards is prosperity. For me, I've got two tree of lives in my card deck. One of them being the prosperity one. Okay. Financial growth, security, abundance, and things like that. And I feel like for you, this is coming in the way of answers and clarity and finalization. So, like, if you've been waiting for a promotion, it's going to come in. If you've been waiting for, you know, a payout to finish, that's going to get finalized. It's that kind of energy that sits there around it. Okay. Now that sits all quite nicely, but then we sort of walk into a little bit of challenging energy that's there. So it talks about first straight up is that heartache, like challenging matters of the heart. Okay, so there's it feels like this is to do with like family and people around you like that. So just things that we've got to deal with, not necessarily earth-shattering type of energy, but there's things that we've got to deal with. I will be honest, but I do feel some sorrow in that connected to a loss, and I'm curious to see if there's like an anniversary or something else like that that sits around this time. And I just want to take time to acknowledge that, because you've got the Spirit card a little bit further down too, which is directly just that. When I made this deck, Spirit said I want a card in there. You know, we find a feather, we find our 5-cent piece. It's that same energy that's there. So I just want to sort of tap into that. And you've got the Confront Fears card that's there, which just talks about that, like just that challenging energy, having to confronting fears, you know, if we're not very good at confrontation, or we're not very good at public speaking, you know, and things like that. It's getting through and confronting those little fears in ourselves so that we're better able to communicate, just as an example, all right? A little bit of uncertainty and standing there at a crossroads, so there's a decision to be made. But I want to say to you, there's almost like when I sit with that card and I focus in with the rest of the cards, I get really nice energy. And I always want to say to you, pick the path that's right for you. It's like there's, you know, I can do it this way, but that doesn't suit me. Or I can sit and do this for another 3 years, but it just doesn't suit me. Or I've got this opportunity to move forward, okay? And I want to say to you, just go forward. It'll pan out well. It'll be what you expected. People that are a little bit dubious about it will come on board. It's absolutely the right path forward is the one that fills your heart. And I don't mean that just as in like choose the one that makes you happy. I mean it as in choose that one that you want, because that's the right one. That's the one that's going to pay off, okay? So trust your intuition, and in that comes your freedom. You get the Sunset card, which talks about, you know, the end of an era and a new phase coming in, okay? You've got the neck up there. So yeah, procrastinating will serve you no purpose right now. It'll just bring frustration around you. So what you need to know most is, again, you know, that wolf in sheep's clothing card that you've got there. So just people will just make sure you're doing you. That's all I need to say in that. It's not a big energy that's attached to it. Just make sure you're doing you. And if people don't like it, I know that you're being moral and respectful in the first place, so they're just going to have to deal with it, okay? And I say that politely, but yeah, that's the way that it goes sometimes. Worries and doubts, just taking them one step at a time. So just make sure you don't let things overwhelm you. Make sure you keep yourself well organised at this time. But there's a nice shift of luck, change of luck that comes in, as I said, but that's already here. And you end up on the joy card, which is nice. For me, I chose the word specifically joy, not happiness or peace on their own, because joy to me is that culmination of things. It's peace, it's happiness, it's harmony, it's a sense of contentment and well-being, it's trusting where you're at, it's all of that beautiful energy that brings joy. Okay, and so that's where it's sitting. So there's a really nice shift that comes in, but as I said, I feel like you have to make the decision in that. And with that, I can feel that there's some tension and energy that's there around it. But overall, I want to say trust your intuition. It is the right way forward, okay? So good luck with all of that. Thank you for joining me today. All right, guys, I'm going to do 3 more readings, and then I'm out of time. Let me catch up with the comments, because the time moves quick. It's faster than I realise. Hi, you're very welcome. I won't say too much about that, but I am drawn to answer it. So I just wanted to say, always trust your gut and your instinct, but sometimes resistance can be about us as well. You know, I can get my back up very quickly in situations like study and, you know, little things that are new to me that I have old ways set in and things like that. So I always, whenever I'm like straight up, I always make sure I take time to just take another step past that and make sure that it's actually about the situation and not just about me. And 9 times out of 10, it is about like my resistance and things like that. And so I've got to kind of work through that. Now, I'm in no means, I'm Switzerland. I'm just sitting in the middle, okay? And just saying, just make sure we just have a look at that. But you know, if you kind of sit with that energy again and you feel the same way, then, you know, perhaps it's just not a good fit and things like that. Absolutely, there's shonky donkeys out there and all the rest of it, you know, so whatever. But just take those little things into account before you kind of make an end decision. And at the end of the day, if the energy doesn't resonate, it may feel like you're being held back just because that click's not there, okay? So just trust in that and, yeah, find somebody who you connect with a little bit better. Alright, I will grab these two. So I'll do Lily, and then I'll grab onto Dean, and then I'll do one more after that. Okay, and then Asgardigal. Alright, Lily. Thank you. Any news? I forgot to put my shirt back on. Got a nice pretty blue shirt sitting over there, and I just realised I forgot to put it on before I sat down. That's alright. Lily. Alright, Lily, when I pull your cards, I got, trying to think of the second song with it. As soon as I started tuning into you, I got I know, I can't remember who the original singer is anyway, but I got Elton John in my head singing Candle in the Wind, which I know is the version for Princess Diana. But anyway, what relevance that has, I don't know. But then it's feeding into another song, and it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't grab it. So I'll sit it there for a second, because it's distracting me. Alright, Lily, when I focus on your cards, you've got the Sunset card, which talks about but tomorrow is a new day. This card's come out a little bit in the last few cards. So what I wanted to say, like with this card, for me, it always takes me back to like the Easter show, I'll be honest. But it's like, the metaphor around that is like you go and you have this beautiful day, and you exhilarate yourself on rides, and you eat crap food, and you get a bit sunburnt, your legs get tired, your feet are sore, and at the end of the day, everyone's a little bit cranky and over it. But at the end of the day, don't you have a good day? And they're like, yeah, I had a really great day, but I'm ready to go home. And that's what it is. It's not about looking back and going, wow, that was just terrible, or anything else. It's going, you know what, that was great, and it had all its good moments in it, but I'm ready to move forward now. I'm ready to move on. And that's what that energy is. And so you've got that card there that talks about it's time, like you feel it and you know it, and that comes through with frustration. And I always say that it feels like you're itching your own skin. It's like, oh, what the hell, It's that kind of feeling that sits there with it. So if you are feeling a little bit frustrated at the moment around yourself, it's that shift's trying to come in, and perhaps, a little bit of resistance from yourself that sits there. But I feel like it's more like a subconscious thing. I don't feel like you're literally sitting there like that. I feel like it's more so just making sure your eyes are open, making sure that you're seeing around you opportunities and chances that are there to shift, because it's very easy to sit comfortably as well. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't want to suggest again that you're just sitting back and going, oh, whatever, but like when we're comfortable and we're content, we feel like just that, we're content. We're not necessarily looking for that change or shift, but it sits around us. So just make sure that you're taking opportunities when they present themselves. Now is the time to actually be doing that. You've also got the external conflict card, which talks about conflict caused by outside forces and people. All right, and so for me, when I sit with that card with you, it's almost like, okay, look, I want to do this, but I keep running into this wall that's there. And I want to say to you, it's almost like, if you've ever seen the movie Labyrinth, and if you haven't, then you just need to go watch it. But Sarah, at the start of it, she's running through this maze, at the start, she gets into the door at first, and she's running and running and running and running, and she's like, oh, there's no turns, there's no entries, there's no anything, it just goes on and on. Yes, I do know the movie almost line for line. But when she actually stops and looks, she sees, as the worm points out to her, that there's an entry right in front of her. She just wasn't looking, and that's what I feel like that's there with that. So any forces of that you can't get past, why don't you just kind of sit back and step and see and look, because it might look like you're looking at a solid wall that you can't get through, but there's a way through. You've just got to see it. All right, and so be mindful of your balance as you move along, and be positive. Like, your attitude is a choice. It's we can sit there and go, oh, it's a rainy day, oh, it's a shit day. No, it's not. It's a beautiful day. Get to dance in the rain. The grass is going to get nice and watered. La-di-da-di-da. You get my point. All right. So I have that there for you. There's a lot of nice positive energy in that. So yeah, time to take some ownership and to grab those big and hairies and get on with it. All right. So good luck, and thank you for joining me today. All right, Dean, I was drawn to you as well. Love to know anything about work situation or anything about myself. I have definitely had a couple of curveballs that have come my way, but I'm always up for the challenge. Yeah, it is, isn't it? And it's the thing around it is, like, we are always up for the challenge, and we do see the lessons in it and everything else like that. And sometimes when we do have this really nice positive outlook, we don't allow ourselves space to not be positive. And what I mean, sometimes it's okay some days just to go, you know what, today I'm gonna lay and have a 2-hour nap in the middle of the day, or I'm gonna, you know, not do this, or I'm not gonna do that, or I'm just gonna not necessarily feel sorry for myself, but I'm going to nurture myself because I feel like I'm feeling like crap. You get my point, okay? So just in that, just make sure we create space for ourselves, because it's something that I definitely had to learn to do. You know, people, especially when they look at you, oh, you're always positive, you're always that. It's like, yeah, actually, you know what, I'm not. But I am aware enough of myself to put measures in place and look after myself. All right, let me pull you some cards. And just because I'm self-aware, I just want to point that out as well, I guess, just because I'm a stickler for detail. Doesn't mean that I can just click my fingers and, oh, look at that, I'm all happy again. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how it works. But it means that I know enough about myself that if I do this and that, that I'll start to get a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. All right. It's funny. I have such a collaboration of music that goes on in my head. Alright, so Dean, when I pull your card, you've got the frustration card that sits there, so taking a breath and regrouping, okay? So, as you've mentioned, you've had a couple of challenges and bits and pieces, and with what I was drawn to kind of talk to you about in the initial there, I feel like that's that connection that sits there with that, okay? So, I do feel that your energy is correct in that as well. Like, you know, I'm always ready for a challenge because I know that I'll learn something, and I know that if I keep moving forward, there's this greater thing that's sitting there, and that's absolutely right for you. I feel like you're still in the journey of a process. So when I say to you that your peak is yet to come, and it does feel still, I want to be really mindful of my words because I feel lots of nice positive peaks along the way. But that big thing that you're working for that you know is still going to take a few years to come in, that sits there so nicely. It's like I'm looking at someone with a flag in the top of Mount Everest, and you're sitting there, you know, with your hand on your hip, and you've got your flag, and you're, you know, sitting there all nice and proud. So there's a big culmination that is coming towards you, but it's almost like it's years in the making. But again, I don't want to say you've got to wait years to have all that, you know, the little peaks along the way, okay? So definitely keep your deeper goals at the forefront, the things that almost seem impossible at this point in time, okay, because they will absolutely come into fruition. You've got the take a chance card there, so nothing changes if nothing changes, okay. Now I feel like there's actually some energies around you that you need to release through that card, so they may be a little bit closer than just friendships, okay, but if they're not girlfriend or boyfriend relationships, they're close, like long-term friendships that are here. And I just feel with it that you're aware that it's almost like, you know, I'm always picking up the check, I'm always cleaning up the mess, I'm always picking you up, I'm always calling you. You know, it's almost like there's a load being carried, and I absolutely get that sometimes we carry that load, and that's what we do for our friends. No problems at all with it, but it feels like it's always kind of been that way. So I just want you to really be mindful of what holds you back. There's a saying that says, you know, sometimes the hands we hold is the hands that hold us down. And I just, you know, need you to kind of be mindful of that and just be aware of that. And it doesn't mean you've got to go on this big rampage and cut people off, but it certainly means that you've got to reflect and, you know, understand some people are for a reason, some are for a season, and some people belong here, some people belong here, some people belong there. All right, and just be mindful of that energy around you, because, as I said, the hand that you hold can be the hand that holds you down. All right. Calling on your strength. You've got the male card there, and that's what it talks about, just calling on your strength. All right, it's like that, oh, all right, I got this. And just be mindful of your balance as well, which, you know, when we're feeling frustrated and things like that, self-care, water, food, party, play, all that sort of stuff. Just keep everything in balance around you at the moment, okay? You've got the strength and the self-discipline to do so. All right. Thank you very kindly. Lisa. Let me pull you some cards. So, This will be my last reading for this afternoon, so thank you very much for everyone that's joined me today. The workshops are up, okay, just click book now on the Facebook page. You can go and read all the information around them. They're all up, or they're in the events on Facebook as well. 4th and 5th of June for Psychic, 5th for the Mediumship, 18th and 19th of the Tarot and Oracle workshops running. Reiki 1 and 2 will be released, as well as the energy healing very shortly, and there will be a mediumship demonstration within the next 30 days up as well. So thank you very much for joining me today. Lisa, let me pull some cards for you. Emily Connell, if you're still here, I keep just being drawn to your question. I'm just going to say 2 weeks. So I get 5 to 7. Alright, Lisa. Lisa, I want to say that you're going to start seeing some improvements in healing around you. It's almost like there's been a little bit of stagnant there, but it's going to start giving you the results that you need. I feel like there's either someone new that you've spoken to, or that you will speak to shortly, that either gives a different suggestion or a little bit of a different perspective, but that helps. Alright, so I also want to say to you that there is, when I say that, they say, yeah, and the same with the financial as well. So there's, I guess I can keep the word improvement there, but it's not necessarily the word I want to jump on. It feels more like, instead of saying like a financial improvement, I want to say financial sortment. Like things getting sorted, things in place. We know that's there, we know that's there, we know that's there. We've been waiting for that to get there, and now it's there. So that in itself is an improvement, but I don't necessarily feel like there's an influx of money, more so like a better utilisation around you, okay? So over the next couple of months. Alright, so you've got the love card that sits there with you. Now, I feel like this is a connection actually with relationships, not necessarily like lover relationships, but with friends and people that we are relying on at the moment, okay? There's a nice connection that sits there with it. It's, you know, sometimes we can sit back and we realise, you know, when it comes to family and little people like that, who's really connected with us and who's not, okay? I have itchy belly, sorry. So yeah, a nice connection is there. So staying connected to yourself, I feel like that's important. There's a lot of intuitive energy that'll come in and around you. I feel like there's almost an idea brewing around you. It may just be a change or a different, because I appear in the word different aspect, so a new way of doing something that you've been thinking about. Okay, stay connected with that. There's still some more information that will come into play with that. It's almost like it's a combination in the end of this new energy that's coming in and what was there, okay? So, yeah, there's, stay connected to your intuition. Make sure you're keeping notes and things like that. You know, like how sometimes randomly we're in the kitchen doing something and we have this like profound thought that's like, oh my God, yes, that makes sense. And, you know, we walk off 10 minutes later to write it down and we're like, oh my God, it's gone. You know, so just, yeah, keep yourself connected. Keep yourself connected. Procrastination, creating delays to avoid action. Now, I don't actually feel like you're doing a lot that's there around you now, but I feel like there's some things that you're going to have to put into place with these ideas that you may be a little bit hesitant to, but I want to say keep the energy moving as it should. Keep the motion in the ocean. Okay, so step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 is supposed to be like that. Don't go step 1, step 2, step 3, go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Keep the energy in there, okay, even if it feels a little bit scary at times, but it's the right flow, and I feel like you've done your homework in the background to know that. Alright, trials and tribulations aren't quite over yet. We've got about several more months of little headachy and working things out and stuff like that, but you know, it doesn't feel like things that are overbearing or overwhelming or, you know, that kind of stuff. It just feels like stuff that's got to be taken care of, I guess, and there's just a little bit more to go, okay? There's a shift there that sits at the end of that 7 months. I feel like you've moved. That's quite a strong energy that sits there, actually. I feel like you've moved, something settled around, and there's a place of more permanency, okay? So I hope all of that helps, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining me today. Muchly appreciated. And guys, thank you all for joining me today. It's been a pleasure to be here for you. I will be back over the next few days to do another live feed. And remember, all the workshops are up. The mediumship den will be online soon too. And yeah, just stay tuned. Thank you again for joining me.